This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Veil. It's me, your host, Norman Meredith. We are at episode 104. So welcome back, and we're looking forward to having some fun tonight. And in the background is my host and producer, Ed. How you doing tonight, Ed?
Going great. I'm hiding from the general public.
Why?
I don't know, just because I can. Oh, hold on, not that one. My bad. That was a cougar.
Cougars, you got to watch them. They can,
I know, man. They're vicious.
Ain't they? Especially the redheads.
Yeah. Red-headed cougar.
Mm-hmm. All right, tonight we're going to talk about the cryptids of North Carolina, our sister state, and some of the things that goes on up there. You ready to talk about some of that stuff?
Let's go.
Let's go. North Carolina folklore and cryptozoology scene is filled with legendary beasts, ranging from towering hairy mountain giants to mysterious vampire-like predators in the lowlands.
Sounds like Asheville.
Yeah.
Yeah, hairy beasts and vampires, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's Asheville, North Carolina right there.
Yeah. Yep. All right, our first one tonight is the Beast of Bladenboro. Legends of the winter of 1953 to 54. The small southwestern town in Bladen County was terrorized by an unknown predator. Local pets and livestock were found crushed or mysteriously drained of blood. Eyewitnesses described a panther or bear-like beast with a long tail and a cat-like face. Details that panic resulted in armed townspeople conducting massive hunts. While the attacks eventually stopped, the creature was never definitely identified. Interesting. I wonder what it could have been.
Don't know, man.
We've got this first drawing here.
Mangy looking, tiger faced, bare bodied, giant coyote hybrid something.
Let's see what else we got.
We got this one right here.
Yeah, got that
compared to a dog, that looks like a Jack Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And one here.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina has a couple military bases up there. And during the 50s, they were playing with biological weapons and stuff like that. There's probably some kind of government research base, and something might have just got loose.
That's true.
I mean, I know I'm pushing, but that's always a good thing to always fall back on is the U.S. government, through various agencies or corporations, is always playing with another new weapon of some sort, whether it's biological, cybernetical, cyberspace. They're going to be playing with something to be one up on the other guy, on the bad guy. And I wouldn't be surprised they created some kind of creature that they thought they could use as a battlefield weapon, and it got loose.
See, I never thought of it that way. I never thought it could be a battlefield weapon, because it could just go like crazy, just out there and like take people out and stuff.
I mean, there's rumors supposedly that the dogmen, are actually government weapons. Because there was a story, I don't know if you ever heard it. This truck driver hit this large animal at night, and he got out of his truck, took his 357 with him, and laying in the road was a monstrous dog man. Okay. Apparently his legs were broken, his hip was shattered, and it was trying to reach out to him. So he pulled out that 357 and he shot it dead.
Wow.
The next thing he knows, he's surrounded by black government SUVs, and men in suits come out.
It sounded like they were tracking the livability of this dog man.
And they told him, you just killed a government asset, blah, 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 sign this NDA, this never happened, you'll never talk about it, blah, 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 blah. Well, he talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, gives some thought to the possibility that some of this stuff is government weapons.
I never thought of it that way, but you know what? That makes sense. That's a good thought.
I mean, if you wanted to terrorize your enemy, especially in the rear area with terror weapons, what else would you unleash but the boogeyman?
Yeah. Some kind of biological weirdness, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you unleash it on their people or onto the lines where it can cause trouble. And that's like our chupacabra. There was a government research base near some of the major sightings of the chupacabra. Which
Could be.
Which gives precedence to the fact that it could have been a government weapon.
And you could give them like AIDS,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they could go out and bite people and kill them
Exactly.
long term, or some kind of weird, you know, injection type thing, or rabies or something like that quickly, you know, takes over the enemy. That's wild, man. Yeah, good thought. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've had talks and read things, and you know, rabies, for example. I talked with a student that was a biochemist, graduated from Clemson. I said, what would you say is the possibility of creating a rabies virus that could be transferred to people from one person to another and create the equivalent of zombies? She looked at me and she said,
They're already doing it.
that's scary. It could be done.
Yeah, I could. For sure.
All right, let's move on to our next one. Now, this one's interesting. It's called the Wampus cat.
Well,
Now-
hold on. What? 6 legs? Okay.
What do you expect from AI?
All right. Well, hey, you know.
The legend rooted deeply in both Appalachian and Cherokee lore. The Wampus cat is described as a terrifying half-cat, half-dog creature. It is said to run on all fours or upright on its hind legs, stalking its prey through deep labyrinth swamps and letting out a blood-curdling howl. Details: it's often characterized as a destructive feral beast capable of leaving trails of torn trees, mangled brush, and bloody fur. Now, this is saying 4 legs, but you know, the pictures I found, like I say, is showing 6. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe it wasn't a mutated cougar
Could be.
or cougars.
Cougary?
Cougary. Sure. But I'm just wondering if it wasn't a mutated cougar that went on the wild, went on the hunt.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, this thing is supposed to be massive and be able to run on its hind legs, and maybe it's just one of those creatures that, once again, we talk about escaping from some kind of lab. I mean, cats are predators. You know, they love to hunt and stalk. They are stalkers, and they probably do a better job than a dog man per se.
Yeah.
Because of the night vision, they're ambush predators. There's no doubt about it. And they probably make the nasty creatures for something like this, you know? And
I'd
then-
agree.
So
But by nature, they hunt. That's what they do.
that's all they do.
They hunt, eat, sleep, have sex, and poop. That's all they do.
And chase laser lights if there's one around.
Or a piece of yarn.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the defense weapon. Instead of a M4, you just go out there with a piece of string and keep it busy.
Or a box.
Yeah. So it'll hide in it and not come get you.
All right, now we're going to talk about our favorite critter, Nobby, the North Carolina Bigfoot. The legend: while Bigfoot is traditionally associated with the Pacific Northwest, Western North Carolina has its own version of the hairy hominoid, most affectionately and regionally referred to as Nobby. Sightings in the Appalachian and surrounding Piedmont regions date back centuries. The state is so passionate about the legend that there are active annual celebrations, such as the famous Bigfoot Festival held in Marion, North Carolina. I mean, one day they're going to have to make this the official Bigfoot cryptid creature for the United States.
And if I can add,
Go ahead.
the terrain of the Pacific Northwest, very much like Western North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Very much like it, except for the ocean part when you get out there in Oregon and Washington State. But everything else is like identical.
But it rains more too out there, except here.
Yeah.
You get more rain out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great it's a great place for it to run around and play. I mean, like I said, we find Bigfoot everywhere in some way, shape, or form, and he's that lovable creature that a lot of people associate with. Now, don't associate him with the Gugway, which is the killer creature that's pure evil. And then there's some other offshoots of Bigfoot we'll talk about one day. If I got to find my notes, because we talked about them early episodes of offshoots of types of Bigfoots. But you know, he's he's that one creature. Everybody, if you say cryptids, everybody's going to say Bigfoot. You know, he's the most famous creature in the cryptid world, next to Loch Nessie. All right, here's the last one. This is called, I think it's the last one I got. No, I got a couple more. All right, the next one is the demon dog of Valais Crucis. The legend nestled in the quiet hill town of Vale Crucis. This cryptid takes the form of a shadowy, unnatural dog-like entity. Details. Legend holds that in the 1980s, motorists driving past a local cemetery were caught off by the beast, causing cars to swerve wildly as it leapt directly onto the road. When drivers stopped to check on it, the animal possessed features that defied traditional biology. So I'm thinking demon dog.
Yeah, look at that picture. That's
Probably red eyes, red mouth, probably smoking and glowing, and huge freaking feet with large dew claw on it, and its claws itself on its feet were probably freaking phenomenally huge, probably large chompers on it. I mean, but mostly it's centered around this cemetery. So somebody playing with satanic rituals probably summoned this thing and did not know how to send it back. And it's bound to the cemetery. That's what I would say. From a religious side, is it's bound because somebody's played with satanic rituals, opened a door, pulled it through, and now it can't go back, and it's stuck there. And it takes out its aggravations and frustrations on traffic.
sounds about right.
Now, here's the next one. This is interesting. The Averspleural Gallenhipper. The legend, perhaps the most unique cryptid in the state's roster. The Gallenhipper is not a furry mammal or cryptoid, but rather a gigantic hawk-sized mosquito rooted in lumberjack and Native American folklore. Early folklore warns that these insects weren't just a nuisance, but downright dangerous predators that plagued the deep, marshy woods of the state's coastal plains and riverlands. Now, I've seen big mosquitoes before, about the size of a quarter. But something this big that's the size of a hawk, yeah, we're going to be going different directions, and there's going to be a lot of bullets flying or shotgun rounds. I don't think I want to mess with something that's the size of a hawk that could drain my blood in one go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's flying death on wings.
Could you imagine it could suck all your blood out of you in like one shot?
Yeah. There was a B-rated movie that came out, I think it was in the 80s, early 90s, about these mutated mosquitoes from a crash saucer, They sucked on the aliens' blood, and then they got freaking huge. And it was Boy Scout troop leader, some hippies and whatnot were trying to kill these things with shotguns and baseball bats and picks and whatnot. It was a sappy movie, but just seeing giant mosquitoes coming after you it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was just like, yeah, no, not my thing. I don't think I'd want to run into anything like that. All right, a last one. What do you think about that, Ed? You want to run into something like that?
I definitely do not want to run into something like that because you never know, man. I don't like bugs.
No. The Boojum.
What is this guy?
The legend, hailing from Haywood County in western North Carolina, the Boojum is said to be an 8-foot-tall, hairy cryptid that is part man, part beast. Details. According to lore, the Boojum has a particular obsession with precious gemstones, which it steals and hides in hidden jugs of moonshine. Now, I've got a couple pictures up here of this. Now, that looks more like a wild man or almost a Bigfoot type creature, but it was one of the ones that popped up. And then there's one more, looks like a giant, like a gnome or something.
There you go, yeah.
But the first one makes me think, go back to the first, makes me think, a hillbilly that just went native.
Yep.
Maybe there was a hillbilly out there that just went native. He crafts his own moonshine and stuff like that. he's got pots of moonshine, and maybe somebody got a hold of moonshine and found something in it one day, and that's how the legend started. He might have been like a little bit over 6 foot tall, maybe 6'6", and that's how. And then you know how legends get born. He's huge, 8 foot tall, and because he had a furry beard,
Yeah.
and wearing probably a pelt of some animal, bear or fox or something like that, made him hairy.
Made him look like that.
Mm-hmm. And this is how the story got.
And scoring all the chicks.
And scoring all the chicks. Because he had the gemstones to put the bling on them.
That's right.
But it was an interesting story. It was just an interesting little blurb. And, you don't hear too much about it, but it just makes nice for a lore. So what do you think about some of this stuff?
Yeah, some of it, could be mistaken for some of the populace that's in Western North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to state that for the obvious, because there are some Wookiee-looking dudes and chicks up there, which you could see. But like you said, they may have gone native and they're just kind of back in the sticks,
Doing their thing.
just living in a yurt and being a dirty hippie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame people nowadays
Nah.
wanting to go off grid
Yeah.
and just get away from all this.
Yeah, like that is a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like recycling your own poop for like heating coals and like all sorts of weird stuff,
I mean, if I could, I'd build me a nice log cabin somewhere where if I could set it up with solar power, deep well.
Mm-hmm.
If it had a good running creek, I'd set up a small hydroelectric dam type thing.
Yeah. Charge your battery cells.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get batteries out there.
To supplement the solar power and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a guy who build those buildings and does all the utilities and stuff. He's on my other
you were telling me about
podcast
that.
the other time, man. It's interesting what he does,
I could do something.
Affordable.
I would do something like that, And
Nice.
you'd fit up a plot of land, grow some vegetables and all that,
Yeah.
raise some food. You'd be good to go.
Smoke some vegetables, maybe.
Tomato plants.
That's right.
Who knows?
Yep.
All right. Well, folks, thank you again for joining us tonight for episode 104. And we're going to lead you into our next episode, which will be 105, Cryptids of Georgia. Thank you, folks, from Pickens. Good night.